Hello, everyone. Welcome to English with Aziza. Today, we want to talk about phrasal verbs. How is it possible to learn phrasal verbs easily? Well, the thing is that phrasal verbs are one of the biggest problems. Why? Because sometimes you learn one word and then suddenly someone else adds another small word to it. And now the meaning completely changes. For example, let's say you learn the word look, alright? So when someone say look, that means you need to use your eyes. But when we add the preposition for, it will be look for. So what does that mean? It means you need to search for something. But when we say look after, what does that mean? It means you need to take care of someone. And when we say look up, what does that mean? It means you need to search for information. And honestly, this confuses a lot of people. Some people even avoid using phrasal verbs completely. Why? Because they feel difficult. But today, I want to make them easier for you. Because the truth is, native speakers use phrasal verbs all the time. They use phrasal verbs in conversations, in movies, in podcasts, in meetings, and in daily life. So, if you want to sound more natural in English, you need to become comfortable with phrasal verbs. Now, the first mistake many learners make is this: trying to memorize long lists. And that usually doesn't work. Why? Because your brain forgets individual words very quickly. So instead of memorizing a long list, what you can do is that try to learn phrasal verbs through situations, stories, emotions, and real examples. That's what helps your brain remember naturally. Let's take a very common phrasal verb. For example, wake up. Well, you probably already know this one. It means stop sleeping. So instead of only memorizing the meaning, maybe you can imagine the situation. So the situation can be like your alarm rings at 7 a.m. Then you don't want to leave the bed, but your friend calls you and says, wake up, you are late. So now your brain connects the sound of the alarm, the emotion of your friends screaming at you on the phone, the situation, and the meaning. So this actually helps memory much more. Now let's look at another phrasal verb, which is give up. This means stop trying. So, for example, don't give up on your English. Now, you need to connect this sentence emotionally. Imagine studying English for months, right? You feel tired, you feel frustrated, and someone tells you, hey, keep going, don't give up. So, what does that mean? That means you need to continue learning no matter how difficult or how frustrated it is. So, the phrase basically becomes more personal, more real, and easier to remember. Another very useful phrasal verb is run into. What does that mean? Run into means meeting someone unexpectedly without any plan. So, for example, I ran into my teacher at the mall. Well, you did not actually plan to meet your teacher, but it happened by surprise. So, in this case, you can use run into. Now imagine yourself shopping and suddenly you see your old friend. So that image actually helps you remember the phrasal verb naturally. Now here is another important thing. You need to learn phrasal verbs in sentences, not alone. Do not only write give up, look after, look up, look into. No, no, no. Instead of memorizing them individually, Memorize them in sentences. So, for example, you can say, I wanted to give up learning English, but I continued practicing. So instead of memorizing give up alone, you can use give up in a sentence. So this actually teaches your brain how the phrase is used in real communication. Another powerful method grouping is grouping phrasal verbs by topic. For example, let's say you want to talk about daily routine. So what kind of phrasal verbs you can use when speaking about daily routine? You can use wake up, get up, go out. If you want to talk about work, you can use take over, deal with, carry out. If you want to talk about emotions, what phrasal verbs can you use? You can use calm down, cheer up, freak out, and you need to use these phrasal verbs in sentences, not alone. Do not memorize them by themselves, all right? You need to memorize them in sentences because this actually helps your brain organize information better. And honestly, repetition matters a lot. You can't see a phrasal verb one time and expect to remember it forever. So, what you need to do, you need to hear the phrasal verb, you need to read it, you need to say it, and you need to use it many times, not only once, many times. That's how language becomes natural. Also, don't try to learn 50 phrasal verbs in one day. Don't. That usually creates stress and confusion. So instead of learning 50 phrasal verbs, you can actually learn 2 or 3 useful phrasal verbs daily. Then use them in your own sentences. For example, I woke up late today. I ran into my friend yesterday. I won't give up. It's very simple, right? So you just need to use the phrasal verbs in sentences and repeat them. Use them a lot. So this is how you need to use phrasal verbs. And honestly, this is actually one of the best ways to learn English. Not through memorizing random lists, but through real situations and real communications. So, next time you study phrasal verbs, don't focus only on definitions. Focus on situations, emotions, stories, and real examples. That's what helps your brain remember naturally and slowly. You will start hearing phrasal verbs everywhere and using them more confidently too. So, this is basically everything related to phrasal verbs. I really hope this topic is very useful. If you feel that there is another person who needs to listen to this episode, feel free to share this episode with everyone who needs to listen to. So, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you hopefully in the next episode. Have a great day and take care. Bye bye.